Welcome to Rallying with Group B's Virtual Motor Club. It's the first Tuesday of every month. And I know we've done a lot just recently, and this has come around very fast compared to everything else that we've done. We've a few things on tonight. We're not going to have a massive show tonight, just to get things out there. We've got Kieron Graffin on from KG Motorsport. We've got Kevin Furber, who's going to host the show again for us, and he does an amazing job for us. So Kevin's going to host the show again for us. Tells a little bit about the update on the sale of the car and how that went. Obviously, most of you have watched it. That's some amazing viewing figures. Michael West, our commentator, is going to also do his quiz. And we'll take some questions from other people for Kieran as well from the Facebook site, if anybody wants that. Jack will look after that. And Mark's on as well in the background there. So over to Kevin. Kevin, if you'd like to take over and introduce the first guest.
Great, thanks for the intro, Tim. I've got a feeling that we missed the first 10 seconds, so I'll just repeat. It's the first Tuesday of every month that we're going to try and do this. Kieran's our guest, and we're going to jump straight into it with this logo to give us a clue of who we're speaking to. It's Kieran from KG, and I'm going to say Kieran has got the best stock of used rally cars in Europe. And we're going to have a look at a few bits and pieces, and obviously the theme is a little bit because I sold the T16. The heartache that I've had in selling a car has brought buying and selling cars to the front for everybody. I've had hundreds of phone calls. In fact, we had 10,000 people watch the live broadcast of the auction. So understanding the value of your car in monetary terms is a very popular subject, and that's what we're covering tonight. So without any further ado, we're going to talk to the man that knows an awful lot about value of rally cars, and in many ways, as soon as I get him off mute, in many ways I'd say he must be one of the bravest men in motorsport, because he is able to value rally cars and such a wide range of them. So first of all, Kieran, hello, welcome to Facebook.
Thank you,
and we're live, and please introduce yourself for people that don't know you.
Kieron Graffin. I'm the boss at KG Motorsport, and we specialise in selling all types of rally cars, from Mark II Escorts to R5s, WRCs, right through to Vauxhall Novas, just whatever.
Fantastic. Now, Kieran, tell me from a competition point of view, take it right back to the start, because how did you first get into this motorsport game?
Well, basically my sort of business started back, my career was just doing auto body repairs and stuff like that there. Always had a massive interest in cars, sports cars, etc. I done saloon car racing. I then converted my race car into a rally car, which I sold after doing 3 or 4 events. I then progressed, bought my next rally car, which was a Mark II Escort. We had 3 or 4 events in it as well. Really enjoyed it, sold it, moved on to Subaru Impreza, and just kind of moved on from that there. Kev just kept progressing and progressing with, one car, then 2 cars, and just kept going on. I got there really, and that's how it started.
Now, what I'd say there is most people in this game they have exactly the same story as you, but they lose a load of money along the way, and they never sell any car to the point where they're able to buy another one. And profit's not a dirty word in our book. We're all professionals, and we all understand that if you can make a living out of what you love doing, that's most people's dreams come true. So from that point of view, how did you then decide to turn it into a business? And because it's a tough old game to be in, car sales generally, let alone rally cars.
Yeah, it is a very, very tough game to be in. I remember a good friend of mine, I'm sure a lot of you know him, John Mahonald, now passed away sadly, but I remember saying to John one day I says, we're the horse race, and I said, I'm not really a gambler, John. And he looked at me and he laughed. He says, Kieron Graffin, he says, you gamble every day of your life, he says, and it's true, Kev, we all gamble, especially in this game here, rally cars, it is a gamble every day. But, I have really, really pushed hard at it, worked hard on it.
Yeah, and I'm going to play some of the cars that you have in stock at the minute, just in case people don't know who you are. because it's a hell of a lineup of cars that you've got in stock. And I think it's quite a new trend. You know, I've had friends for years that have dabbled in this business, and one or two every now and again get a decent car, but you've got some stock. But before we get into that, I'm going to ask Mick West, who apparently our motorsport quiz master has got, let's say, the first two of our motorsport quiz. So hit us with some quiz questions, Mick.
Week, and it wasn't really planning.
Sorry,
on
mate, that's me not muting you. Right, we can hear you now. Fire away.
You can hear me now, right? Well, I've been a bit dropped in it this week, and I've not really had much chance to plan anything. But my questions are based around the TR7 V8 that sat in front of me. In particular, this one that this is modelled on, which was a very famous TR8 because Tony Pond won the Manx International and Ypres with it. But my question is, who went on to drive that? Per Eklund drove it on the RAC that year, but who went on to drive it in competition after that?
Okay.
That's my basic question.
Kieran, any idea?
Well, basically, to narrow it down a little bit more, I'm talking about in the British National Rally Championship.
No, you've definitely lost there. So you have maybe before my time.
Well, my other question.
Clue, Nick, there's going to be people watching this.
Well, the other question.
I'm just going to have a guess. Is he called Ellesmore?
It wasn't actually. He did obviously drive a TR8 works car, but it wasn't Ellesmore.
All right, we'll come back to that. Anyway, just stuff I know a bit more about. I'm going to put this full screen for the viewers, which is some of your stock of cars. I'm not sure how old they are, but if people didn't know who you are and then realise that all these cars are available for purchase or have been available for purchase, and it's just some of the cars that you have as a lineup, I think it really puts in perspective the type of customers, the type of people you're dealing with. And I'm going to call you a dream factory. I say that every now and again to certain people, and there's an awful lot of dream cars there.
Yeah.
So, having seen those, Kieran, I mean, first of all, where do you get the stock from?
Throughout the years, we've built an awful lot of good clientele, customer base in Europe. So we have, and we do an awful lot of repeat business in Europe, buying and selling with some of the big teams out there. Maybe some of their customers want to move from, say, the previous Skoda to the new Skoda, or the new Citroen, or the new Ford, whatever it may be. And we be contacted, would be interested in bidding for their cars. A lot of the people, Kev, doesn't really want to advertise the cars and want the hassle of selling it, and they can't part exchange, whatever. Whereas we will take that part exchange, so we will. And throughout the years, I have part exchanged some very, very weird and wonderful things, but I've kind of been known to do that, and maybe that's where it works, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I heard. A good friend of mine said, you know, Kieran's a brave guy, and the one thing you know is that he's one of the few people that will have a go at anything. And
yeah.
Along with that, then give us one or two things that, not that you look out for, but what's your favourite car? What's the favourite car that you like to own?
Well, I suppose owning and selling is two different things. Like, but the R5s are obviously the up and coming car, so they are. What's becoming very popular now is the X-Works cars, the WRC cars. I've just bought an ex-Solberg S7 WRC car. It's on the way home now. So these WRC cars are definitely becoming very, very collectible now. So they are. And like everyone, Kev, there's loads of cars that I have sold that I really wish I had kept. But in business, like everybody knows, you have to keep the wheels turning. You know, you can't keep everything. So say I've sold a lot of nice stuff, and I wish I had it in the corner now, but that's the way it goes, really.
And do you think you can predict, in fact, I've just found the Solberg car, I think. Is that the Solberg car?
Yep, that car is just on the way home now in transport.
Okay. Is it a secret how much money that's worth?
Not really. There has been a few people ask me. I've kind of not really sort of went into the price because I'm going to get it home, and it might be one of them cars that I might want to put in the corner. I'm not sure yet. But as I say, I can't keep them all. Everything is for sale.
Yeah, keep them in the corner. We've all got those type of cars, but probably not Peter Solberg's WRC car. What price difference? This is a big question that I know our club members would have. Is how do you attach an additional value because of the driver of the car? You know, I know it's a tough question, but what would that car be worth if Petter hadn't driven it?
To be truthful, maybe not so much now, but in years to come, it probably would be a massive difference. You know, there's cars out there that are sort of ex-Pro Drive Group A car, 555 car, but haven't had, you know, Colin McRae, Richard Burns, or, you know, whoever drove the car. And it definitely makes a big difference. In them older cars, it could be $100,000 of difference.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially when they don't get competitive. Now, I guess one thing that you're, again, fairly unique for is that a lot of your stock is cutting-edge competition cars. If you want to win a rally outright or you want to win an international championship, you're selling cars that can offer that to a private buyer. And there isn't many people with that range of cars available to do it. The type of people that are buying cars from you, are they ones that want to win? Do they want the best cars? Or are they looking for, you know, is it gentleman drivers?
Yeah, we would sell a lot of cars to gentleman drivers and a lot of people who just really enjoy their rallying and they just want the nice car, the proper car. They all work hard and they progress every year to maybe changing from their Mitsubishi Evo upgrade to something else, whatever. So a lot of would be gentleman drivers or just clubmen who want the nice car.
Yeah. And as far as your customers are concerned, do you service, do you take cars on events, do you run them, or is it you're a car seller and that's that?
We used to do an awful lot of on-event service at the very, very start. When we started, Mitsubishi Evo was our main sort of breaking into the rally car scene. At one point, we could run maybe 12, 13, 14 customers. We run Gary Jennings in the Irish Tarmac Championship for like 3-4 years. And truthfully, that probably really helped us at the start. So it did, because it got our name out there related to the Mitsubishi Evo. Gary obviously was a very good driver, winning championships. And that was definitely a good starting point for us. So it was, but we've kind of went away from the running customers and on event and stuff because I just want to concentrate on the sales. We do provide some hire. If there's something sitting, somebody wants to hire, you know, we'd maybe do a bit of hire, but that's on the sort of maintenance and looking after. We're trying to steer clear of that at the minute.
Yeah, probably a very wise decision, my book. Let people run them on events. So if you could, I sold a car lately in auction. I'll ask you your opinion on auction. So there's probably two ways to sell a car. An auction has big commissions. You could sell it to a trade person like yourself. You're going to need to make a living as well. But you know, do you buy and sell through auctions? What's your feeling about auctions?
I have never really done the auction thing. I think the auction thing at times can be a very, very good point because you get people who, if you get two people wanting the one thing, obviously the price keeps going up and they keep bidding against each other because they really want that car. Probably like you just said, the downside of the auction is you have the commission. So you have. But if I was coming to you to buy your car, I would be bidding you with obviously the view of trying to make a profit on your car. So it's kind of the same thing, and it might level out in a way, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. It's probably pretty simple. And certainly the experience that I've had in selling has been really positive with the auction, and I've never done it before, and certainly not at that rate. I learned a lot from it. And I guess, if I'll ask you this question as well, do you buy from people that don't really want to sell? Because it would have been hard for me to sell. So an auction was one of the ways that I was willing to sell it. It sounds strange, but I'm not sure I would have sold it to anybody making me a personal bid, because I'd needed to publicly know that the car was had the best chance to go to the right home, plus what I thought was a proper market value, which sounds strange, but maybe you get that off people that they want to place a car with a certain type of person.
Yeah, well, I genuinely can understand where you're coming from your point of view, but most of the people do contact me if they want, it's usually till sell their rally car, so they're kind of set now, yeah, it's time to move on, or I'm going to exchange, or I'm going to move up or move down or whatever. So no, most of the time if somebody contacts me, they usually have a genuine reason, and they do want to sell their car,
Yeah, that's good. And I think one side of chatting with you and the way that the guys that will watch this is that, one, they learn that you're an approachable guy, and you've got great stock, and you can ring you up for a chat. And I guess one of the mysteries about you in particular and the way you do your business is that you're not keen at putting the price up anywhere. And I've heard so many times when people look on rally car auctions and whatever it is online, and they're like, why don't you tell us? Tell us how much it is. But of course, most of those people are tire kickers, aren't they? They're just...
Yeah, well, to be fair, I know there is a lot of people saying to me, oh, why do you not put your price on this and that and that? There's a very, very, very simple reason for that. If I put a price on, usually my cars are genuinely, without a doubt, R5s, etc., are the best value on the market. But you can be dealing with some customers who think their car's worth 10 and 20 grand more than they actually are worth. So you kind of need to sort of look at that aspect before you go advertising your price.
Yeah. I guess it's tricky, and I understand, why you do it. I think the public you can almost dictate the market, can't you? You put a price up, and I guess you don't want to be the fall guy as well, where you're setting the price and everybody's just a little bit under you. So yeah, you've a whole market to consider.
Yeah, well, I try and keep the prices very, very realistic, but I do pride myself in, my R5 cars and stuff, Fiestas, Peugeot, Citroen, whatever, we have had some of the best value R5 cars on the market, but I'd be very, very realistic with the price, and like I say, I will take anything in exchange, but it must be of the value that I can obviously move it on without me losing money, so like if somebody's being realistic with me, I can be very realistic with them,
Yeah. And with that, one thing that's cropped up over the last few years is ridiculous amounts of money in Mark II Escorts, which I love all of them. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But who would have thought that £100,000 is normal for a Mark II Escort? So what's your feeling on those type of cars? Because an R5 car, I sort of get it. There's a lot of modern technology in it. Mark II Escort, and they seem to hold the value. It's a mystery to me. But is it just an Irish thing? Do Irish boys love the Mark IIs and that's that?
Well, it probably is an Irish thing, but there's a lot of men in the UK, and the Mark II Escort is a very big thing over there too. Obviously, you've all the builders over here. Dan Motorsport. Everybody loves a Dan car. You've Ryan Lochran, etc. And the Escort definitely makes good money and holds that money very, very well. So it does. I'm only after selling an Escort that's only done 200 stage kilometers. Like that car was 100 grand, but they do hold their money. And I suppose the value is in them, because a brand new car to build today is 120 plus the VAT.
Yeah. And I guess it's just like I say, if you sell them, you've got the confidence in it. It just seems strange to me that a Mark II Escort is at that, that rate.
Yeah.
If you build them, then you know the value, don't you?
Yeah.
And with that, what sort of you have owned some special cars in your history. I can think of a Bertie Fisher car that you've sold recently. How did you ever get hold of that car, and how do you value that?
Which one's that there now? Sorry.
Was it the Manta or a Tough Mac?
Yeah, the Manta is still undercover. She's in the shade. She's in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, we did a bit of research trying to find it. We couldn't, which is why I was asking. So, I mean that puts it in perspective. That's really good because there's more than money about that car, isn't there?
There is. Yeah.
I knew Bertie a little bit, and I knew Mark really, really well. So, massively, it would be special for me to own one of his cars. And I'd like to think that's even more popular in Ireland. So do you see that as being a serious thing that you need to keep hold of?
Well, put like this here, I have that car now coming up 9 years, and I have never kept anything that long. So yeah, it's definitely that wee bit special. Yeah. And so, is there a car out there that you would like to buy but you've never actually owned one? Are you like Mick collecting his TR7s and his toy cars?
Mine are a bit cheaper.
Maybe slightly.
So, if you could, what car would you like to buy?
I don't know. Probably because it's the sort of the newest thing out there at the minute, and I have been trying to buy some on the market, but they're just kind of making too much money. But I would actually like one of the new Golf R5 cars to have in stock, because there's never been one really for sale as such. There's 2 or 3 on the market just by privateers, but it's one car I would like to have in stock for sale.
Fantastic. Right, I'm going to ask the boys now. Boys, have you got a question before we wrap things up with Kieran?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Yeah. One of the cars, if you could keep a car that you've owned in the past, Kieran, what would you have kept? Any car that you've sold in the past that you might regret, or think I should have kept that? What would it be?
Yeah, I've had Jack. I've had a couple of the sort of ex McRae WRC 98 cars, stuff like that. There, that definitely, that sitting parked in the corner of the day would be, really, really nice to have. And some of the 555 cars, just them cars, there's just something about them. And I'm sure you see that when people put on Facebook or Instagram a 555 car, a 98 or 99 WRC car, there's so much interest in it. So there is.
Yeah. Just another question as well. If you could pick one car, one rally, maybe to do, what would it be?
I suppose really, I've done Donegal International Rally sort of 4 times myself. Probably Killarney in a really, really nice fresh R5 car would be the rally. I've never done Killarney before.
What's the highest overall result you've had on Donegal?
We won the class twice in Donegal, and I think we were like over in the national. We're probably about 22nd, 23rd. So we're and as they say, the national is the one with all the madmen. So it is.
I've done the rally in 91, I think, and I think I finished in the top 20 and won the class and a lot of other things. So I was hoping I'd done a higher overall result, but we'll call it the same there.
It's a tough event, so it is. But still,
yeah, I loved it. One of my most favourite ever events for lots of reasons.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Which I'll tell you about off camera sometime. It's brilliant crack. Anybody else, boys? Any more questions?
Yeah, just a quick question from me. You're saying you've got Bertie's Manta tucked away in a corner. What else have you got tucked away that Is your, shall we say, your nest egg, your retirement plan? What else have you got tucked away?
It's nearly kind of sort of old road cars after that there, but the Manta, the Bertie Fisher car, is kind of the only rally car that I have tucked away. That's why I'm kind of maybe looking at this S7 Solberg car when it's home.
Yeah.
Might be another possibility. We'll see. We'll see what the bank balance is.
As they say, everything is for sale. One way
Everything
or another.
for sale. Yep.
Yeah,
It isn't it?
Ah, well,
It is.
Just keep building up your nest egg. Feather your nest.
Perfect.
That's my question for you, anyway.
Thank you.
I forgot about the road cars, so I've just put up the. There's a Cosworth there. I don't know if you've sold it.
She
Have you
sold
sold that?
delivered to the UK there just last week.
Nice car.
Yeah.
Again, how do you value something like that? Are you just looking at previous sales online?
Yeah, you kind of are, you know, like the Escort Cosworth road cars are kind of fetching good money at the minute, somewhere between 40 and 55,000 pounds, depending on the car, the mileage, the history, etc., you know. So that's kind of the going rate for them.
And I'm playing a video on a yellow Subaru. What's that one?
That just sold to a customer of mine who has bought a lot of cars off me, but that's quite a special Subaru that there. That's a ProDrive Subaru Group N N12B, but that car was built in say 2006, 2007, but only done 12 tarmac rallies from brand new.
It looks in really good condition.
It's absolutely
interesting that it's in yellow as well.
Yeah, that car there sat under a blanket in the shade for just over 10 years with dust sitting on it, and that's exactly where it was at.
You just think there's all that money just sat there.
Yeah.
That's it. There must be cars all over the world just sat there waiting for somebody to find them.
Yep, just sat there under dust sheets, as you say, waiting for somebody to find them.
Keep snipping in all the barns in Ireland.
Yeah, and tend to.
Now, as we know, Kieran, I'm thinking of buying a car, and my briefing is I'd like to buy. You can't say too much about this, but I'd like to buy a car that might win a rally outright. So, which do you think is the fastest? A Mark II Escort, really good one, or an R5 Fiesta or Skoda? R5 car against a good Escort.
It's like everyone, and people have sort of been renowned for this here for years, and WRCs, even and Mark II Escorts. If you place the latest spec Millington in a straight line with an R5 Fiesta, the Escort would probably definitely be quicker. There's no doubt. But take it to a proper road with both cars, proper drivers. Just the R5s just do everything so well, and they're such a driver-friendly car. You know, like we finished third overall on our last event in an R5 with my daughter sitting there. I hadn't done a rally in 2 years. They you jump into them and they're driver-friendly. You can go.
What you mean? You mean Kevin could even drive one?
Even Kev.
Just a quick question for you, which is a tricky one, really, to be honest with you, because nobody wants to give the trick of the trades away. But just back onto your classic cars, and interesting with the auction the other week when Kevin's car went through, there was a Lotus Colton went through on there. I think it was in the 30s. But I can't see one for less than sort of 50 grandish, to be honest, about at the moment. It sounded like a really, really cheap car. What do you see as, what advice do you give to people out there that want to potentially invest in future classics, and what sort of thing would people be looking into to dip the toe in the more into the water?
Yeah, I'd agree with you on the price of that Cartland, Tim. I'd have said that was 30 was, you know, a very, very reasonable price for that there, if it was in any condition at all. Cars are probably creeping really up there in value if you can get a good one is the likes of Evo 6 Tommy Macklin's, some of the wee Subaru GC8 cars. That type of thing is starting to come on board. The only thing, sometimes you can miss the boat with it, if that makes sense, because sometimes the cars have already sort of peaked and they're not really going to be worth much more, unless there's something really special about them. Like I think Escort Cosworths at 50-55 grand would be kind of their peak. Maybe in really years to come, a nice low mileage one or whatever. But when you kind of get in around that, there is certain cars will definitely have peaked. So it's just getting that, as you say, that starting point of a car that hasn't got there yet.
Any ideas? Go on, give people some idea. Go on, give a little bit away. What would you think would be just one car? I'm not bringing you to everything, but just one car. If you were to say what you think is going to be a future classic, what do you think that would be?
Some of the nice wee BMWs, but you see, even like I said there, an Evo 6 Tommy Macklin could be hard to get a good one at the right money now. What is starting to come on probably is the likes of Evo 9 MRs or RSs, that nice low mileage ones. They're starting to creep up there, and I think probably in years to come they will be a future classic. Even some of the nice wee Subarus, but like you take a 22B today, it could be £100,000. So I think some of them older cars, even right down to an Evo 1, 2, or 3 RS, I think in years to come that will be a wee classic.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of cars like that, and certainly even some of the hot hatches and things now that are coming on board. So I think that's, they're certainly future classics as well. So I mean, I've known things like Mark 1 XR2s going for a fortune. So
that's right.
So yeah, I think it's a start for budding collectors.
There's I think there's still plenty of opportunities out there, and if somebody wants to start off, they don't have to spend an absolute fortune. A nice, proper, wee, clean car, and just keep it that way. It's going to definitely go up in value.
I think so too. Okay, Kieran, thank you very much. Kevin, have you anything to add to that, or?
No, I'm going to tell one story to finish us all off with, although Mick might have a quiz question and give us the answer. But when I first bought my T16 15 years ago, before it, I'd actually bought a road-going T16. And at one point, I had both of them together. And I bought the road car for £23,000 and I sold it for £23,000 because I thought, what's the point of having two? And you can't get a road car now for less than £200,000. So that's the worst car decision I ever made. Have you any of those, Kieran? Have you got any that you wish that, God, if you'd have only predicted it?
I will say probably going back to the same thing as the Subaru WRC cars. If you could have predicted the way that was going to go, as right back to Subaru 22Bs, I probably had 6 of them. The dearest Subaru 22B I sold was £26,000. So that's regrets.
Still had all them.
Exactly.
I bet even Mark Crossley's got one of those stories.
Yeah.
You must have had an XR3 in your day, Mark.
Mate, no. No, I'm not on an XR3. I had a Mark 2 Astra GTE.
Yeah.
And I've had 3 Nova SIs.
Yeah, we had that discussion before.
I wish I kept
the Nova Sport now would be worth a lot of money, and there's nothing to them.
Yeah, I've always wanted a Nova Sport just to put in my garage.
I seen one crop up last night on Facebook. Funny enough, when I clicked on the boy's website, he had it up at £24,000.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah, so he had Nova Sport.
Yeah, I always like that.
Yeah, good wee car.
Well, there's nothing to them. I'm not condemning them, but there's nothing to them.
Nothing at all.
It's an SR with a paint job.
It is.
Nothing.
It's
great to have the logbook.
We've actually got a question from European Rally Champion Chris Ingram, Kev. And he's asked,
Oh, really?
if your next car is coming from Kieran.
I hope so.
Would it not be too much of a coincidence?
Yeah.
Well, as everybody knows, I'm still eager to have a car that can win a rally outright, that can have a female name, and that we can still have some attachment to my history and Group B rallying. I'll leave it at that. Nick, would you? Oh, sorry. Go on. More questions, Jack?
I think I've had a guess. If you're going to have something with a Peugeot connection and Group B, you're probably going to get a 504 pickup.
Yeah, and knowing Kieran, he's probably got one. You need the answer to your.
No, the answer for the answer
to your quiz.
The answer to the quiz question about the TR.
Firstly, before you do that, Mike. Firstly, before you do that, Jack, is there any answers on the Facebook page?
Not for the first question, no, but I'm sure there will be for the second one if we've got one.
Yeah. Well, the question about the TR8, the answer to that will be on our Facebook page tomorrow. But I will point out that Kevin was right when he mentioned Graham Elsmore. Elsmore did drive SJW, but he's not the person I'm thinking of who went on to drive it. Anyway, my other question is based on the car we were talking about that Kieran has, the ex-Solberg Subaru X17 SRT. Now, which driver went on to win a round of the BRC in that car in 2003?
I know, miss. I know. But I'm not going to say.
Well, you were there. And, and also, why did that car actually retire from the 2004 Circuit of Ireland? So there's two questions that Kieran might know. If not, they're out there for everybody else.
Thank you, Mike.
The Circuit of Ireland one was, no, I could be wrong. Was it Derek McGarty driving that time? No.
It wasn't.
No. Tapio Lackman, did he drive that car in the circuit?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why did he retire from the circuit?
The Clipper Rock, no?
Nah. It caught fire.
Caught fire at St. Angelo Airfield.
Yeah. Luckily, they put it out before it ended up in your hands.
Yeah, exactly. I actually remember it caught fire on the stage in St. Angelo Airfield. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's it. But the other question out there is who won a round to the BRC in it in 2003?
Well, let's let the general public answer that one, Mike, on the Facebook page. Yeah,
let an answer on the Facebook page. I'll pop the answer up tomorrow as usual. So that's it from me. Cheers, everybody.
Any more? Thank you, Mike. Any more for any more off the page, Jack?
No. Just thank you to everybody tuning in again. Obviously, if you didn't wasn't here for the first 10 minutes, we will do this every Tuesday of the month. So just thank you for everybody tuning in.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just leave
let you say goodbye, Tim?
Yeah, go on, Kevin. Sorry.
Just before we do that, so you close everything. Obviously, I'm thanking Kieran for joining us. But it'd be good for Kieran to just know a bit about the club, Race Retro, the events that we do, mainly because there's an obvious home for some of those rally cars, especially the more cherished ones like the Solberg car, that, to come and do events with us. So in case anybody thought this was just about cars, it's not. Kieran's speaking to an awful lot of people that would happily come and do the type of events that we're doing. And the show events, and they didn't used to be a thing, but actually for older drivers and especially the gentleman drivers to go to Race Retro and have a show and show your car and drive it, and it doesn't really cost much money. It's not big mileage. You can put who you want in the car. It's not competitive, so you can run it at whatever boost pressure or how hard you want to drive it is totally up to you. and it's a display. And they are fantastic events. I've really enjoyed them over the years. And I didn't think I'd ever say that, but they do really have a bonus over and above doing something that's hard and aggressive on the car. So the people that are buying the cars to cherish them as classics, they've definitely got our events to feel welcome to come to. So it's great to be associated with people like yourself. And I think increasingly in the future, when we're running events, it's nice to know where some of these treasured cars are going, especially cars like the Solberg car, because we were all about Group B, but that's going to get more and more difficult to run. So, it's really nice for you to join the club, and that's the obvious link to what you're doing and what we're doing. But I'll let Tim say, have the final words. So fire away, Tim.
Okay, thank you very much to Kieran for coming on and letting us know a little bit about what he does and what he's got in stock. I mean, some amazing cars there, Kieran, and like I said, you're very welcome at any of the events we run.
That's great.
I'm sure you'll keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much to Kevin again for hosting the show, and Jack for keeping an eye on the Facebook page. Again, Michael, thank you for the questions. As a pleasure. And to everybody that's watched again, only a short one this time because we've done so much over the past few weeks with the build up for the sale of the T16. We'll be back on the first Tuesday of every month. And if anybody wants to get involved with the show, if anyone wants to come on as a guest speaker, then please just get in touch with one of us. You can do it through the normal channels or through social media or through an email direct to rwgb@live.co.uk. And we'll discuss it and see what you've got to bring to the meeting. But once again, thank you to everybody for watching, and we'll see you all soon.
Just before we leave as well, Kieran, where can people find you? What's your website?
Website is www.kgmotorsport.com. We do a lot of stuff on social media, Facebook, Instagram, contactable mobile number, obviously WhatsApp, whatever. So we're I say social media has become a massive thing for us, Jack.
Yeah, brilliant. So if everyone watching, if they can go like KG Motorsport's page, that'll be appreciated. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, thank you to everyone watching. Anybody got anything else?
No, that's it, Jack.
We're just going to say goodbye. Cheerio, everybody.
Thank you.
Top of the day to you, Kieran.
Send you.
Cheers,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
All the best. Bye. Bye.